Today, we're talking about Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise, one of the few true crime dramatizations that actually gets it right. It's not just about what he did, it's about how it happened, who it affected, and how it changed the people who had to face it. The series doesn't start with the monster. It starts with the world around him, which is really special and really important. You got suburban Chicago, mid-1970s, the illusion of normal. You got a man running a construction company, he's throwing neighborhood parties, dressed up as a clown for like local fundraisers, shaking hands with politicians. He's a man whose charm isn't just a mask, right? It's a weapon, but you get to see it as that mask at first. What Devil in Disguise does so well is pull back the curtain piece by piece. We're following the investigators who first suspect something's off. They got this missing boy, the robbed Peace boy, the family members are searching for answers, and the strange coincidences that are starting to stack up. The film doesn't glorify Gacy at all, and that's what's so special about it, because it dismantles him slowly and methodically through the eyes of the people who refuse to let the case disappear. There's a tension that builds from the moment we realize how deep the basement goes, both literally and metaphorically. Every conversation with him, every flashback, every police interview, has this pressure, this sense that something horrible is just beneath the surface. And the cinematography is remarkable. The framing feels claustrophobic without ever resorting to shock tactics. The color palette bleeds from suburban brightness into these shadows and muted tones as the story darkens, and it's just visually poetic without being over stylized. And that's what really makes it land. I mean, the acting, you got to talk about that. The lead actor portrays Gacy gives one of the most restrained and chilling performances I've seen in a true crime storytelling ever. He doesn't do it for spectacle. He even said in the interviews he took the role because the project wasn't exploitative and he wanted to show the human lie behind the monster, not trying to sympathize but to make sense of how someone could live a double life so convincingly. But it's that choice elevates the entire production, and his taking on the character, done so with respect, is at the same time so eerie because it feels so honest as to what actually had happened. And it's so special to have something like that, where instead of taking a character for example the Gein show with Charlie Hunnam, where you take it and kind of run with it and make your own story using something else, this is taking that real character, that real person, and then making this character form into that person in a way that now the audience can see it. And it's so well done, and it's so impactful. I mean, every supporting actor follows that same philosophy, and it's amazing. They aren't props orbiting evil. They're real people with this fear, the guilt, the trauma, the detectives, the parents, the neighbors. All of them are carrying this story with authenticity. It's not shock value. It's actual storytelling. The pacing really deserves to be mentioned too. I mean, it's magnificent. It's slow enough to breathe, but sharp enough to cut you, right? Each episode feels purposeful. You feel the need to, you feel that the investigation stretching time, and you feel the need to get to him. You feel the need to hurry up and stop this. The dread tightening and the truth hitting like this cold slap. The editing mirrors the psychology. It's deliberate, disorienting, and it's painfully real. And what I admire most is how the show focuses on the victims. It's not just as names or photographs, but as real people with real lives, real families, and these dreams that get completely interrupted. It never lets you forget that behind every headline was an actual human being. The victims remain at the heart of the narrative, and it's not the killer. That's something most modern true crime series have lost sight. And that's what really brings me right back to the comparison that needs to be made, because when you look at Netflix's Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, and the brothers, I forgot what the brothers' names, but the real one, the Ed Gein one, right? The difference is glaring. Those shows lean so far into spectacle, into obsession with the killer as a character, almost mythologizing them. The camera follows the blood instead of the people. It can be really difficult to watch those things and enjoy them on anything that is based in any kind of truth or any type of moral lesson or anything like that, any ethical background or just point, because they're so fictionalized and they have such a strange kind of love letter sent to these monsters. Whereas Devil in Disguise, it does the exact opposite. I mean, it makes you so uncomfortable when you're in the room with this guy because of how evil he was. And it honors the story instead of explaining it. It remembers the real horror that lies not in how creative the violence was, but how ordinary it could hide. The focus is empathy, it's not infamy. Where Monster feels like a reenactment as entertainment, Devil in Disguise feels like this testimony. As respect for truth, it never forgets that these are real events and real victims and real pain. The direction, the writing, the cinematography, everything moves in service of truth, not drama. That's why I think John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise, is one of the most honorable and expertly crafted true crime dramatizations that we've ever had. It's not about evil for evil's sake. It's about facing what people are capable of and refusing to look away. And this is our biggest flaw when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to the supporters of film and cinema and entertainment, is that we as a people are not talking about John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. Why? Because it was good. Because it was really good, because it honored the victims, because it was the right thing to do, because there's no real shit talking you can do. Whereas everybody, look at YouTube, it exploded all over social media about how much people hated it and how much they were so, turned off by the Ed Gein show, and it was so goofy and ridiculous and so upsetting, and it was all this, but it does record sales, it does record views, it does all these things because it's negative. And we as a people, we as viewers need to change this. We say we want better stuff, but all we ever watch is the crap because we want to talk crap about it. We want to be negative. We want to shit on everything. We want to go, oh, did you see how awful that was? Did you see how terrible that was? Instead of seeing something like this and going, that's what we want to see. Look at that. They did it the right way. It was amazing. I learned a lot, and at the same time, I got to enjoy this crazy story that, really showed me what could be out there, what could be lurking out in the neighborhood that I never even knew. But instead, we have, let's talk shit about the newest thing. Boycotting is completely dead. People don't know how to boycott anymore. They say, oh, we're going to boycott this, but then it does record sales, record numbers. It makes no sense because they can't stop themselves from going, well, I'm going to watch it so that way I can tell people not to watch it. How does that even make any sort of sense whatsoever? So this is where this needs to change. People say they want original stories, but they don't watch original content. They just go and shit on the regurgitated bullshit that they know they're not going to like. People say that they want, real storytelling, and they don't want, victims to be, shut down and shut away and act like they're just nothing but toys. But yeah, instead then they go and watch the series Monster, and they talk about it, and they do YouTube videos about it, and they do all these things. This is why, because they want clicks. They want to talk about the bad. We don't talk about the good anymore. And that's what's so sad about this. And that's where this right here, John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise, should be what's being talked about. That should be the show that gets all the YouTube videos talking about it, all the TikToks, all the Instagram posts, all that kind of thing should be there. I'm not saying that Ed Gein shouldn't have the memes. I think the memes are very funny. But when it comes to the actual debates, anything that's good, no one talks about. Anything that's bad, that really sucks, oh my god, you can't get people to shut up about it. So, like I said, the storytelling in this show is disciplined, the filmmaking is mature, the humanity is intact, and these are real storytellers honoring a story. And in a time when the true crime genre has become crowded with that exploitation I've just been talking about, this series stands out as a reminder of what cinema can do when it tells the truth instead of selling a myth. So that's why John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise, a masterclass in restraint, pacing, and purpose. Watch it. Not for the monster, but for the courage of those who exposed him.